Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and mental health educator. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical skills and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The name of this video is Reasons to Stay Alive. Also happened to be a title of a really great memoir by Matt Haig, H-A-I-G. Anyway, we have to start off with a joke. This is not so much a joke or a pun, but something I thought was, I don't know, see what you think. Anyway, I was at a stoplight the other day and I saw a bumper sticker that read, "Take my advice, I'm not using it." Anyway, as one of the many people who suffer from depression and anxiety, you viewers of this channel, by the way, I think we've had about 4.5 million views. But anyway, there may be times in your life when you really feel down. Life looks bleak. You may have a time when you can't find pleasure in anything. You might be really anxious. And at some point you might say to yourself, why bother? Why even bother staying around here? Is it really worth it? But if you take some time to think about the people and things that you value, you may find, if you look closely, that there are some things about your life that make life worth living. And that's what I want to explore in this video. What are the things that possibly can make our lives worth living, even when we're struggling with depression and anxiety? To help you get in touch with those reasons that might make life worth living, I'm going to put 2 questions on the screen, and I'd like you to write them down. The first is, what are my reasons for living? And the other is, what are the things in my world that might make life worth living? Pause, write them down, and then I'm going to read you some answers I got from my YouTube viewers, my group members, and my friends when I asked them this very question. What are your reasons for living? What makes it important for you to stay alive? And when you find something that resonates with you, pause the video, write it down, and keep a list. This will strengthen your psychological immune system so that when you come upon tough times, you can refer to it and it will say, oh yeah, that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm going to continue to stay here. So let's start with some of the reasons that I've heard from my viewers, friends, and group members. So the first reason that people give, and the most popular one, is, I want to keep on living for the ones I care about. That should come as no surprise. We are hardwired for connection with human beings. We are pack animals, and relationships are what give life its joy and its pain. But most people say they want to stay alive for their husband, their wife, their partner, their child, parent, etc. And I remember developing a nice connection with one of the viewers who told me that, many years ago she was quite down, was really thinking of throwing her life away. And I said, why didn't you do it? She said, well, I didn't want to abandon my 4-year-old daughter. Well, today that 4-year-old is a healthy teenager, and that daughter saved that lady's life. What can I tell you? Another thing people have told me in terms of reasons to stay alive is, I want to keep on living to accomplish a purpose. This reminds me of one of my favorite quotations from the great philosopher Nietzsche. He said, what did he say? He said, he who has a why to live can bear anyhow. I'll say that again. He who has a why to live can bear anyhow. And this corresponds to what Viktor Frankl, the great psychiatrist, discovered in the concentration camps. He said that people who survived were not the youngest, were not the healthiest, were not the strongest. They were the ones who had a purpose they wanted to accomplish when the war ended. Finishing a great work, finishing a poem, being reunited with a loved one, something to live for. What does it say in Proverbs? Without a vision, the people perish. So we all need a vision, we all need a purpose, and that is one reason to keep sticking around. So the third reason that people tell me why they want to stay alive, why they want to keep on living, is because my pets need me. And since I've started doing this work, especially running groups, I have really come to realize how bonded people are with their pets. Their dogs, their cats, in some cases even a parrot. And there's a feeling of unconditional love that people get from their pets, and they're like children to them. And in some ways, the bond is so powerful that it will keep people on the planet. For example, in one case, a story in the Irish Times appeared. That a woman was on a bridge and was thinking of jumping, and then someone called out about the name of her dog. And it kind of snapped her to her, the president said, oh my goodness, I couldn't let my dog, perish. No one knows how to take care of him like I do. other similar responses have been when people have had cats. So it is incredible that animals can keep you here, pets can keep you here. That's a chapter in my new book on suicide prevention. So if you have a pet, cat, dog, whomever, horse, be grateful, because that is a very, very powerful reason to keep on living. And for many of us, we have Bruce, of course. It's what gives life some joy. The fourth reason to stay alive that people come up with is, I want to keep on living to have future experiences. And by the way, I hope you're writing stuff down yourself as you hear a reason, or maybe something comes to you. Keep this list, because it has been shown that having such a list like this is very important to maintaining your mental health. And again, when things get tough, to remind you why you're here on this planet. So, common reason. My father said, I want to see Daniel get his bar mitzvah. That's a coming of age, or graduating from high school. Someone said, I want to dance at my daughter's wedding. Other people say, I want to watch my grandchildren grow up. Or there are things on my bucket list that I want to do. Like, I've always wanted to go to Italy. Maybe that's bad timing, Doug. Anyway, yeah, something you've always wanted to accomplish, like going to a country you've never gone to before. There's a very interesting principle, and that's when people can have something to look forward to, it helps them get out of bed in the morning and actually keep on trucking during hard times. It's a very powerful principle, and one of my clients said he cured himself of depression by always making sure he had something a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks ahead that he was anticipating, and that was what kept him going when he just wanted to go back under the covers. So, see if you can have things you look forward to. If you don't have them, see if you can plan them. The last reason, by the way, there are a lot more in my new book on suicide prevention. I have a bunch more of these. If you like them, I can email me, douglasblog@gmail.com. I'll send you a whole list with other people's comments. Anyway, I want to keep on living for the little things. Now, what does that mean? Well, in one of my episodes many years ago in the 1990s, I was really having a hard time. I mean, every day I was just trying to keep my head above water. It was getting exhausting. And I said to my therapist, Pat, I said, if all I'm trying to do is survive from day to day, how do I find any quality in my life? I mean, really, where is the quality of life? And she said, the quality is in the little things. I didn't know what she meant until later that day. It was a typical cloudy day in winter in Portland. And suddenly, right before sunset, the sun came out and the sky was filled with beautiful pinks and purples. And I thought, yes, moments like these make life worth living, even if they just last a minute or two. Now I know what she was talking about. And that's true. I had another moment where my wife, Joan, took me to a Taizé chant. And one of the singers, Taizé is a community of monks in France, and one of the singers sang, how is it? Oh, within our darkest nights, you kindle the fires that never burn away or die away. Within our darkest nights, you kindle the fires that never die away. I mean, that just almost brought me to tears. So, sunset at the beach, the first snowfall, my favorite flavor of ice cream, jumping in a cool lake on a hot day. These are some of the reasons that people have given me. The great motivational speaker, Anthony Robbins, once said, when you die or when you're close to death, you don't remember years or months, you remember moments. I can think about the moment that I stood on stage as I was graduating from high school, and the principal said, Douglas Bloch has made it through all of high school without missing a day. How proud I was until people started booing me. But I remember that moment. Yes, I never missed a day of high school. How could I do that? I'm so ashamed. But anyway, there are moments in our lives when we get married, when especially you have your child born, and so many times when you think back, yes, that was really special. And if you can keep a library of positive memories, even when you're suffering, you can go back to those moments, and they will do the same thing to your brain as if you were actually living them, because the brain cannot tell the difference between something real and something imagined. So, 5 reasons I've given to stay alive. And as a final piece of advice, I want to recommend creating something called a hope kit. This is a real thing. They've studied it. And what you do is you take photographs or letters or song lyrics or poems or childhood toys, souvenirs, other memories, and you just put them in a big box or something creative, a scrapbook, a container, and just, it's things that you can look at every now and then. Maybe it's a photo of your daughter, or your niece, or your son, or something that inspires you just to have on hand. So every now and then you can look at it when you're feeling really down, and you can say, yeah, these bits of inspiration, because all it takes, you see, is to stay alive, not a day at a time, not an hour at a time, not a minute at a time, but a breath at a time. If you can do that and make it hour by hour, breath by breath, you will survive whatever you're going through. This has been Douglas Bloch. I hope you've enjoyed this talk. I got a little emotional there because it brought me back to a very painful time, but guess what? I survived, and you're going to survive too. I don't care how bad it looks. Things will get better. Many millions of people have survived depressive and suicidal episodes, and they came out of it, and you will too, trust me. So if you have any comments, leave them in the comments section. You can always email me, douglasblog@gmail.com, and I will respond to you. And if you want to subscribe to this channel, click on the photo, and you will be taken to my subscribe page where you can sign up. And if you want to subscribe to this channel, I already told you that. If you want to give to this channel, just click on the Patreon image and you'll be taken to my crowdfunding page. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in finding reasons to keep on living. Thank you for being here.